Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast, where we are talking all things personal growth, transformation, and stress optimization. So, today I want to talk about, is stress the villain that it's kind of been made out to be? And I have a very different perspective on stress. And the reason that I have this perspective is that oftentimes stress, when you think about it, it is talked about in a way as something that needs to be tamed, something that needs to be eliminated. We all need less stress in our life. And from years and years of nursing, there is a statistic out there that over 80% of illness leads back to chronic stress. So, from that perspective, and just that perspective, it seems as if stress is the problem, right? It seems like that is the thing that needs to be tamed and eliminated. And if we can just understand our stress and get rid of it, then we would be okay. Now, stress tends to be something that everybody knows that they have and they feel, but maybe we don't know where it comes from. Maybe we don't know the root of the stress itself. Maybe we don't know how it's truly impacting our bodies. And so with this information on 80% of illness is linked to chronic stress, it'd be easy to assume that stress is the problem that needs to be solved. It is the villain of the story. However, today we're going to talk about how stress is actually the guide or the blueprint to unlocking more freedom in your life. The thing that is going to help you get from this level to the next level. And maybe stress, from the perspective of which we see it today, I'm hoping that this episode will open your eyes as to what stress really is, okay? And what we can do about it. And how we can use it to our advantage instead of feeling as if it is some powerful force that is holding us back and keeping us stuck and doing all of that. So let's break it down a little bit. What happens when you want to grow, when you want to expand in some area of your life? Maybe you want to work on some health goals. Maybe you are wanting to start a business or take your business to the next level. Maybe you are sick and tired of being in a certain type of relationship, and so you are ready to take your relationship to the next level. Maybe you have financial goals and you're going to start pouring, your time and your energy into. Have you ever noticed that when you do that, what happens is it seems like you set this vision, you set this goal, and the next thing you know, everything that could go wrong starts to go wrong. It feels as if everything is working against you. And this is what I like to call your stress fractures. This is when we begin to expand, when we begin to want to hold a vision, a new level of our life. These stress fractures start to show themselves. And what these are showing is where your internal foundation is not strong enough to hold the vision that you just set out to create. And so this is not the time to turn away. This is not the time to turn back. It is not God or the universe saying, this isn't for you. Don't go after this thing. It's actually saying, build this muscle, strengthen this muscle, because if you don't, you are not going to get to the vision. It's asking you, who do you need to become in order to hold the goal? And the faster that we can come to grips with the fact that we have to become a different version of ourselves to get to the next level, to get to the goal, to get to the vision, the faster we can come to grips with that and start to make those adjustments, the better this is going to be. And we're going to be able to get there so much faster. The thing is, a lot of times we fight. We don't want to let go of the person that we were before to step into that new person. And so what this stress is showing you, where these stress fractures are coming together, is showing you exactly where you need to place your attention to strengthen your internal foundation, where you have to change the holes that need to be plugged in order for you to get to the next level. Okay, so This happens a lot of times. Maybe you will see this when you're going after a health goal, and then the next thing you know, everyone around you needs something and you put your workout off to the side. Well, what that's showing you is not that everybody needs to ask you for less. And maybe that is true. However, it is telling you that you need to make yourself a priority, that you need to hold stronger boundaries and allow other people to do things for themselves so that you can do for yourself. Those are the internal things that need to shift in order for you to hold this goal. Because if everybody else always comes first, like always comes before you, then you can't get to the next level of your life, right? So we need to look at these things. These stressors are showing you where you need to grow and where you need to evolve. The areas in your life where you have become complacent to your current behavior patterns, your past behavior patterns, your current or past thoughts, and your current or past beliefs. And what you need to do is adopt new behavior patterns, new thoughts, and new beliefs. And that's what your stress is showing you. So you can see that stress isn't actually the issue. It's not the problem. Complacency is. Stress is showing us where we need to change, where we need to build a stronger foundation. Complacency is when we choose to not make the change. And that is where the stress starts to compound. When we know that we need to make a change in our life and we are refusing to do it. So, from my experience, from years and years and years of coaching people, there are kind of these 6 root cause stressors, these 6 categories or areas of your life that we need to be continuously working on strengthening. So we're going to break those down very quickly, and future episodes we're going to go more in depth into these 6 categories, and we're going to keep talking about them. Don't worry. But for now, I just want you to have an understanding of these 6 categories. The first one is your physical health, right? This is how are you treating your physical vessel? Okay, so this is literally our physical body. Are we moving? Are we resting? Do we have our nutrition that is going to give us a strong foundation? If we're not paying attention to this area of our life, you're going to start to crumble in tons and tons of different ways, right? Then we have our mental health. This is where we cultivate mindfulness, where we have mental clarity, where we allow ourselves to become aware and see things from different perspectives. That is our mental health. So that's the second one. The third one is our relationship with time. So this isn't simply just time management and eliminating overwhelm. That's part of it, but it's actually your relationship with time. That do you feel as if there's enough? Do you feel as if you're always behind? There is time will bend to your will if we know how to work with it and we have a really positive relationship with it. The fourth one is avoidance and procrastination, right? These are the things that are getting in our way, and what we avoid in our life has the most power over us. So when we sit and we avoid things and we have these massive to-do lists and we don't have a strategy for getting things done, then we're allowing those things to hold so much weight and mental and emotional and physical, like they live in our energy all the time. Even if we're like, no, I'm not thinking about that, it's still sitting in your system and becomes a really heavy weight that you're carrying around. That's kind of starting to really compound that stress that you may already be feeling. The fifth one is confidence and self-belief. So this is where you have to trust yourself, your decisions, knowing who you are, knowing what you like, knowing what you're going after, and not being afraid to talk about it and be your full version of yourself out in the world. And then the last one is trust. Okay, so this is trust not just other people, because that's part of it. Fostering open communication with people, collaboration with others, knowing that you don't have to do life alone. So it is with other people, and it's also with something bigger than you. You know, we sometimes are in a very rough spot because we have lost our faith that, and we think that we have to do it all alone, which we don't. So these are those 6 categories. And to the degree at which we can strengthen each of them will determine how resilient we are. And it actually allows us to expand our sweet spot, which is that pressure makes diamonds kind of stress that we are looking for. We don't want to have too little stress. We don't want to have too much. We want to have the Goldilocks of stress, because it is when we are under just enough stress that we are our happiest, our healthiest, our most fulfilled. It is when we have energy and we are creative and we are living with a sense of purpose. Living in that state, in that sweet spot, doesn't come from having no stress. It doesn't come from eliminating all of your stressors. It doesn't come from going and putting yourself out in the middle of the woods and never having to talk to anybody and never having to deal with anything like traffic or kids or all those things. That is not where that lives. It comes from having just the right amount that we can keep growing and we can keep evolving over a long period of time. And every time we strengthen one of these categories, we are expanding our sweet spot. And therefore, we are expanding our capacity to hold more stress without crumbling and without burning out. And this, you guys, makes you a pretty freaking unstoppable human. And that is what I desire for you. So we went through those 6 categories briefly. Like I said, we're going to break down so many questions and so many different things over these 6 categories. But you can actually start shifting this today. And you can do that if you go ahead and download the free workbook from the website. We have worked our tails off to put together this workbook that will allow you to dig into these 6 categories, understand the stress chart, understand where you might be living currently. And if you download the workbook, you're going to be able to take the stress assessment, which will tell you exactly which one of these 6 categories is asking for your attention the most. And depending on those results, it's going to direct you to the next steps you need to take in order to strengthen that particular area. And remember, if we focus on everything, we focus on nothing. But if we focus on one thing, we impact positively everything. So don't be afraid to utilize that stress assessment and let it guide you to one category. And just, even though you might want to focus on all of them, right? That's a distraction technique. Use this to hone in and focus on that one area of your life and make some of these changes that you can make and see what happens over 30 days, over 60 days, over 90 days. Okay. And we have also provided you with some additional tools and resources like a nightly reflection sheet, a weekly action tracker, so that you can actually track the data and not just base it on how you're feeling, but are you actually showing up for these things or are you not? There's a built-in accountability, which we love and hate, right? I think we all feel like that. But these are all tools that are designed to help you on this journey. So the workbook is full of these amazing tools, resources, and it's totally free for you to access. So make sure you grab a copy today. Maybe do it with somebody, do it with somebody else. That's always super fun. See what categories you guys get and then hold each other accountable to making some changes. And here are some of those changes that you can make. I'm going to give you your practical magic for the week. So if you only have 1 minute, just go to the website and download the workbook. Okay, take one step in that direction. Go to the website and download the workbook. That's probably going to take you 30 seconds. With the rest of that 30 seconds, tune into your body for a second and see where you are currently holding stress. Gather a little data. Is it in your jaw? Is it in your shoulders? Are you holding it in your hips, in your lower back, in your head? Where does it live? And just ask yourself this one simple question. If your body could talk, what do you think it's trying to tell you? Okay, what do you think your stress is trying to tell you? All right, that's your 1 minute. If you've got 5 minutes, then take the assessment, download the workbook, take the assessment, and read the corresponding page that lines up with your highest score so that you can determine so you can become familiar with what are some changes, what are some shifts that I need to make. If you have 15 minutes, download the workbook, take the assessment, Decide which one action you're going to focus on, and then follow it up with this choice point meditation that we have linked in here each night as you are falling asleep. I mean, you can really do it whenever you'd like, but I always think, how can I do something and it's not taking up more time, right? So I love to do meditations as I'm falling asleep because I know that they have a huge impact on me, and I don't have to take any more time in my day to do it. So if you're somebody who, might need to work on your relationship with time, utilize going to bed as a powerful time to set your subconscious to a new wavelength. Now, remember that courage is the antidote to complacency, and it's the prescription to living in your sweet spot. So you're going to have to be brave enough to go in direct opposition of what you would normally do. And this meditation, this choice point meditation, is going to help you rewire your subconscious mind to make different decisions that are going to lead you to a different future, which is why we do this work to begin with, right? It's not to stay the same. And then lastly, if you want to take the week to focus on this, commit to using the tools from the workbook. Use the nightly reflection, the reflection prompts, and the action tracker. And consider just starting simple. What is one thing from, the different things that are in the workbook that you're going to start doing that's going to help you strengthen your weakest category? And then what is one thing you're going to stop doing that is stopping you from being stronger in that particular area of your life? And then keep those things top of mind by placing them on Post-its or writing them somewhere every day where you can see them, telling somebody that you're working on them. Make sure that you have a way of keeping these things top of mind. And I'm super excited to see what you take from this. What is your category? Share it with me. I would love to hear it. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'm just know that I'm cheering you on. And this is the whole point, is to see stress not as this awful thing that we need to get rid of, but actually as the guide and the blueprint and the pathway to more freedom in our lives. So take a look at that, do your practical magic, and just remember that we are in this together. So keep growing, keep evolving, keep showing up, and I will see you next week.